Welcome back to the Morning Scramble, everybody. Okay, remember when you were in school, the teacher would come into the classroom and she'd say, "Okay, class, time to take a test." A test. And you'd panic. I know I would. Well, we have the president of EduNova, Kamal, is joining us this morning, and he is here to help our kids eliminate the stress when it comes to taking a test. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you. Well, all I have to say is, where were you when I was in school and I'm panicking over my French test or trig or whatever it was at that point? And why is it that kids are so anxious and the panic sets in about taking tests?
Yeah, well, you know, one of the key things that happens is when we hear the word test, it suddenly triggers off kind of our reptilian part of our brain. We just have a reaction. And we panic, we freeze, we associate it with a bunch of negative things. And one of the things we can do as parents and really as coaches for our kids is to train them to look at a test differently. It's more of a game, and if you learn the techniques, the tips of how to do it effectively, you can really win at that game.
Okay, so the solution of how to do it effectively. Now, I know that you have come up with some steps to help the kids take the stress away. Yeah. And again, I wish that I knew you when I was growing up, because this is some pretty awesome information. Let's start with the planner.
Sure. So, you know, we actually started working with about 33 leading education experts from major universities trying to figure out how do we get kids to do better in school. And one of the things we saw was they've got to learn the right strategies and techniques for all types of things, including taking tests. When it comes to test taking, the most important thing is preparation, and the best way to prepare is to use a planner. You know, most high school kids don't have a planner. Middle school, they just don't have one either. And so if you can get a planner for your son or daughter, have them put major events in there, and most importantly, work backwards. Write down all the steps you need, and on the days you need to take them to work towards preparing, let's say, for the test, they'll feel more prepared, more confident, and they will be more ready to succeed.
And when you're talking about major events, you mean everything, including birthday parties. I've got a baseball game or a soccer game. There's a play that night, so they can see, oh, Thursday, I have a big soccer game, but I have a test on Friday morning.
Exactly. And so the more they can learn to plan, because this is not only a school skill, this is a life skill. If we can learn that skill early on, we're going to be more successful, not only in test taking, but in life in general.
Okay, so here you have a planner there, and then you also have, this is a form of a planner too, correct?
Yeah, actually this is for taking notes. So, you know, a lot of kids, they take notes in school, but they don't know how to really use them effectively. So what we recommend is in class, take notes. That's fine. Within 24 hours, review your notes and write down any keywords associated with the notes, some questions, make connections to other information, do a summary. It should only take about 15 minutes. And then, once a week, review this and all your notes from that subject. What you're going to find is you will cut down total study time for that course by a third.
By a third.
And you won't have to cram for your exam. So it's a great way to prepare for an exam and study less in the long run.
Instead of coming home from that baseball game or soccer game at 9 o'clock at night and you have 3 hours of trying to cram for a test the night before and you're tired.
Exactly.
And so now you're prepared. I think so much of, like you're saying, preparing for a test has to do with how you study. Anybody can memorize, and if you can start at an early age, like my triplets are in 5th grade, it's very important because it's all a foundation.
Absolutely. The earlier you as a parent, you can coach your kids into learning these techniques, the better. I was just talking to somebody in the studio earlier today. They were mentioning they didn't learn how to take tests till they were like junior in college, and then it suddenly became easy. If we can teach our kids how to take tests effectively at a young age, they're going to start breezing through the rest of their school as well as their career, because your career is also full of tests.
Yeah, and taking a test, there's a strategy behind it.
Exactly.
So let's talk about preparing for the test. What do we do here?
Okay, so one thing is, you know, when people are studying for the test or just studying in general, they forget to take breaks. And that's one of the most important things. You know, you want to maintain focus and you want to eliminate fatigue when you're studying. The best way to do it is use a timer, set it for 20, 25, maybe 30 minutes, and then take a 5-minute break. During the break, stretch, maybe take a little walk. Don't do anything that's too tolling on your mind, like watching TV or something like that. And it's a great way to maintain the focus.
Okay, yeah, and stay stimulated. And you have gum and some treats here?
Yes, that's right. So believe it or not, actually, if you chew gum while you're studying, and if it's flavored, it should be very strong flavor, should last a long time. It'll actually help you keep alert. And not only that, it's actually involving a little bit of motion. What we found is if you have a little motion while you're studying, it helps a lot.
Hence the stress ball.
Hence the stress ball. That's exactly right. So if you're studying, maybe with one hand you're using your right hand, the other hand, use a stress ball. Or play with a paper clip. Or do something else. Maybe even sit on an exercise ball, have a little motion. It actually helps you retain information, stay more focused, stay more alert, and fight fatigue.
Okay, so let's say here we are, we're getting ready for the test. Now, the morning of, what should I make my child for breakfast?
So a great thing to do is stay away from sugars, too many carbs. Go for something like eggs, etc. Have some nuts or berries for them also. Things that have a lot of protein, low sugar, to keep them going so they don't have a crash and they can stay focused.
Now, and I'm in the test, and all of a sudden I panic. I don't know the answer to this question. You talk about doing like a doodle. What should I do there?
Yeah, exactly. So you can take your hand and your finger and just start making a circle in your palm. Do it 7 times and just focus on that. And what you're going to find is at the end of doing that, all of a sudden all the panic is gone, the freezing is gone, and you're able to go back into the test and focus.
Okay, and so we have about a minute left here. All of these examples of how to take a test help you with a system that you have, and it's called the MCS3. Quickly tell us about it. We've got 30 seconds.
It's an award-winning system. We've won about 7 awards on it, and we have a system for middle school, high school, and college where we teach over 30 strategies on how to improve grades. And kids who take it within one report card cycle, they improve their grades 21%. That's a whole letter grade across the board.
Wow. And where can everybody find more information?
They can visit us at howtostudybest.com. That's howtostudybest.com to find more information.
Oh, thank you, Rick. And thank you. Thanks for helping us take the stress out of taking a test. We'll be right back after this.